National Broadcasting Company presents Radio City Playhouse, Attraction 11.
Hollywood, California, Monday, June 29th.
Presents the finest in motion picture entertainment, Academy Award.
From Hollywood, Skippy, America's largest selling peanut butter.
Cary Grant, Katharine Hepburn, and Jimmy Stewart.
The Lux Radio Theater welcomes you all.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Drama and Theater, brought to you by Dwayne Old Time Radio. Before we get to today's drama, if you enjoy what I'm doing, let me ask you to subscribe to my channel. Subscribing is 100% free, and you will receive notifications on new posts. Lastly, if you have a moment, write a short 1 or 2 sentence review or give a rating on your preferred podcast service. A positive review or rating would help me out a lot. And now, on to the show. Oh yeah, and thanks for your support. I really do appreciate it. Happy December, everyone. As always, we're going to start the month off with Lux Radio Theater. We're going to do 2 episodes this month to celebrate the end of the year. We're going to do Cavalcade, which aired December 28th, 1936, and then The Show Off, which aired December 9th, 1935.
Hollywood, California, Monday, December 28th. The Lux Radio Theater presents Herbert Marshall and Marilyn Carroll in Cavalcade with Una O'Connor, David Niven, and Douglas Scott. Lux presents Hollywood. Our stars, Herbert Marshall, Marilyn Carroll, Una O'Connor, David Niven, Elsa Buchanan, and Douglas Scott. Our guest, Noël Coward, author of Cavalcade. Our producer, Cecil B. DeMille. Our conductor, Louis Silvers. With this exceptional array of brilliant personalities, the makers of Lux Toilet Soap welcome you to another gala event in the Lux Radio Theater. Don't let cosmetic skin bar your road to romance. The active lather of Lux Toilet Soap removes stale cosmetics and all impurities that choke the pores, leaving your complexion smooth, soft, and lovely. Yes, 9 out of 10 Hollywood stars prefer Lux Toilet Soap. But you can use it, too, every day. For this pure white soap costs only a few cents. Give your skin the care it deserves. Buy a few cakes tomorrow. And now, our producer, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cecil B. DeMille.
Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. On time's eternal stage where scenes are marked by passing years, another curtain soon will fall. With Cavalcade, the Lux Radio Theater says farewell to 1936. A play, I think, that not only crowns a year of what we hope were notable productions, but sets a standard we shall strive to meet through 1937. As we turn to England for our story, so we turn to England for our stars. Herbert Marshall, Marilyn Carroll, both natives of the mighty little island. Herbert Marshall turned actor by circumstances, for he began his career as a bookkeeper. After a year and a half of debits and credits, he was discharged. Needing a job, he became assistant manager and then actor in a musical comedy company. Today, he is not only well known on the screen, but on the legitimate stages of the world. Marilyn Carroll, daughter of an Irish professor and French mother, became a school teacher to earn money enough to take her to London and the stage. Oddly enough, Marilyn's first Hollywood offer was to play in Cavalcade, but she refused it to remain in England with her husband, Captain Philip Astley. She came here, however, 2 years ago, lending her distinction, beauty, and ability to The Case Against Mrs. Ames, The General Died at Dawn, and Lloyd's of London. Tonight, she becomes Jane Marriott, and Mr. Marshall, Robert Marriott. Una O'Connor will be heard as Ellen, the same role she played in the film and on the London stage. David Niven, seen currently in Dodsworth and Beloved Enemy, is Edward Marriott, and the part of Edward as a boy is played by Douglas Scott, who is seen as Horatio Nelson in Lloyd's of London. Our play is by Noël Coward. the third drama from the nimble pen of this amazing writer, producer, and actor to be performed in our theater in less than a year. So on with the play. The Lux Radio Theater presents Herbert Marshall and Marilyn Carroll in Cavalcade. December 31st, 1899. Despite the Boer War, then raging in South Africa, all England celebrated the most momentous New Year's Eve in modern history. The turn of the 20th century, the beginning of a new era. In a charmingly furnished drawing room of a house in London, Ellen, the maid, is setting the table for a light supper. As she turns to the door, her husband, the butler, enters, carrying a bottle of champagne.
Did the master say they'd have champagne too, Bridges?
It's a celebration, ain't it? And it wouldn't be a celebration without champagne, would it?
There's hot punch.
It's wiser to be on the safe side, is my way, Ellen. If hot punch fills the bill, they have hot punch. If it's champagne, it's here too.
How was cook when you come up?
Flighty. Running round the kitchen like a cat on a griddle. New Year's Eve's gone to her head and no mistake.
She's been queer all day.
Has she ever been quite right?
Less than an hour ago, she told me she feels like it was the end of everything. Oh, so do I, for that matter.
Oh, come now, Ellen. It ain't necessary to start that all over again.
Well, you ain't losing a husband.
Oh, you ain't losing me, Ellen.
A man's marching off to war ain't staying home with his loved ones, is it?
Well, no, not exactly.
Oh, it's horrible, Bridges. I can't bear to think what it's going to be like when you're gone.
Then don't think about it.
I can't help thinking.
It's a bad habit, Ellen. You ain't no different from the missus. Master Robert's going too, you know. You're in the same boat as all the other soldiers' wives.
But you ain't cut out to be a soldier.
Ellen?
Well, what's going to happen to me and Fanny if anything happens to you?
Oh, you'll carry on.
Oh, dear.
Oh, girl, you married me for better or worse, didn't you?
Oh, I did, but...
Well, if it turns out for worse, so much the worse it'll be. And if it turns out for better...
Fat lot of comfort that is. And what's the war for, anyhow?
We've got to have wars every now and then to prove we're top dog.
This one don't seem to be proving much.
How can you tell what our brave boys are suffering out there in darkest Africa? Giving their life's blood for their queen and country. Oh, if this wasn't New Year's Eve, I'd lose my temper, and that's a fact.
Well, 'twouldn't be the first time. You better go and get the hot punch. They'll be here in a minute. Oh, listen, there they are now. Draw the curtains. Why, it's almost New Year's. At least they wants to be cheery. Yeah, hurry up now. Go on, get the hot punch.
You mark my words, Ellen. If we didn't give them boys a lesson, they'd be over here wreaking havoc and carnage before you could say Jack Robinson.
Oh, get along with you.
Good evening, Bridget.
Your cloak, ma'am?
Thank you.
Your coat, hat, and stick, sir?
Here you are.
Very good, sir. May I have the honor to wish you both a very, very happy New Year?
Thank you, Bridges. Same to you.
Ellen, how nice the table looks.
Oh, thank you, Mum.
Where did those flowers come from?
They're from me and Bridges, Mum. With our very best wishes, I'm sure.
That was sweet of you, Ellen.
Oh, not at all, Mum. Well, it's a pleasure indeed. Well, I'll go and help Bridges with the hot punch, Mum.
It was sweet of them, Robert. I feel I want to cry.
Well, then by all means cry, dearest. This evening was planned sentimentally.
To say hail and farewell.
It isn't farewell yet.
Soon, Robert. Dreadfully soon.
When it comes, then we'll take it. You looked so beautiful at dinner, Jane.
I'm glad.
You're beautiful now. Oh, I expect it's only that dress, really. Dresses can be very deceiving, darling.
Of course. That's perhaps how we wear them.
And that ornament in your hair.
Yes.
And the fact that I love you so dearly. You might be hideous and ill-dispositioned and tedious, and I would never know it.
You're a darling. And I'm going to believe every word you say, even though I know I shouldn't. Kiss me, Robert.
Sweetheart.
A goodbye to the old year. I wonder if the boys are asleep.
Snoring, I expect.
Oh, no, Robert, not snoring. They both have perfect tonsils. Dr. Harrison said so.
Inherited from their mother, my dear.
Oh, Robert, why must you leave me?
It takes men to fight wars.
What does it matter about the Boers?
It matters about your brother Jim, doesn't it? He's out there. That counts.
Yes. Give my love to him if you ever see him. If he's alive.
Of course he's alive. They're all alive. They're bound to be relieved soon. Baden-Powell's a fine man.
How long will it last? The war, I mean.
A few months.
God willing. In a few hours, you'll be sailing. You'll be going on board. Perhaps it'll be all over when you get there.
Perhaps.
I suppose you'd hate that, Robert.
Bitterly.
Edward and Joel want to see you off.
No. No, they'd better be here.
They're your sons.
No, they're children. They'd better be here.
It's rather horrid even thinking about it, isn't it? Thank heaven for one thing. They won't have to fight. Peace and happiness for them. Oh, please, God. Peace and happiness for them. Always. A new year.
It started, sir, just 12 o'clock.
Happy New Year to you both, Mum.
Bridges, open the windows. Come over here, Ellen. Stay and drink with us.
What, me, sir?
Fill 4 glasses, Bridges. Champagne. Make it champagne. We'll be toasting the new year and all it means to us.
The new year.
Here we are. Now, raise your glasses. Jane, Ellen, Bridges, 1900.
1900.
1900.
Listen.
What is it?
The children. I thought I heard. I'd better go up and see.
It sounded like Master Joe.
Bring them down here, Jane. Bring them both down. How very impolite of the 20th century to waken the children.
Goodbye, dear. Goodbye, mate. Goodbye. Cheer up. Cheer up.
Well, I think I better be getting aboard.
Yes.
We're almost ready to sail, I imagine.
Yes. It's come at last, hasn't it, Robert? This moment.
You'll be very brave, darling, won't you?
I'll try to be. Take care of yourself, my dearest.
I shall probably be seasick.
Lie down flat on every possible occasion.
I'll try to remember.
Bridges will look after you.
Perhaps you'll be lying down flat, too.
And you mustn't worry about me being unhappy when you've gone. I'm going to keep myself very busy. I shan't give myself time to think of anything. Except that I'm so proud of you, darling.
I'll write and telegraph whenever it's possible.
Please do.
Well?
This is horrid, isn't it?
I really must go.
Not just for a minute.
Jane.
Yes, Robert?
I'm going to kiss you once more. And then I want you to turn away. Turn away and go right on talking. So you won't actually see me leave you.
Very well, my darling.
Now, Jane.
Edward and Joe were terribly anxious to come, but I'm glad I didn't bring them, really. Joe gets overexcited so easily. He's had a very bad cold, anyhow. Edward could have come, I suppose, but that would have upset Joe so dreadfully. Being left alone. Take care of yourself, my own dear. You're not here anymore, so I can break down a little. I felt you go when I said about Joe being overexcited. Robert.
First 4 months of the new century. 4 months of fighting and bloodshed. In the beleaguered city of Mafeking in South Africa, the British troops strike desperately, hoping for relief. It's the morning of May the 18th, 1900. All England waits for news.
Bang, 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 bang. There, Edward. How many boars did I kill that time?
27. Set them up again, Cousin Edith.
This one's got his leg knocked off.
Then he's wounded. You've got to put him back in the box.
I wonder how many boars Father has killed, Edward.
Oh, hundreds, I expect.
I wish these were real boars instead of tin ones. Bang, bang, bang. Dirty old Kruger. Bang.
Shut up, Joe. How dare you fire without orders?
Excuse me, sir.
There, that is very much more like it. Put your army up again, will you, Cousin Edith?
Edward.
Well, what is it?
Need I always be the boss?
Yes.
Why?
Because you're only a girl. Watch out. Bang, bang, bang.
I'll teach you, you mean little pig. I have a cannon of my own, even though I am a boar. Bang, bang, bang. How do you like that? Bang. Take the old cannon.
Don't throw it at Joe.
I'll smash all of his soldiers.
It's not fair. Stop walking all over my soldiers. Edith, that was cheating.
I'm sick of being the boss. I'll never be the boss again so long as I live. I won't be the boss.
Edith.
I won't be.
Children, why on earth are you making such an awful noise? Aunt Margaret and I could hear you right down the hall.
It's Edith, Mother. What's the matter with Edith? She doesn't like being the boss, Aunt Margaret. She's mutinied.
I don't blame her.
Bang, bang, bang. Here's your cannon thrown back.
Joe!
Ouch.
Joe, you're a naughty, wicked little boy. You go upstairs this minute.
I only meant...
Upstairs.
But, Mother, men fight. I don't see why I can't.
Come over here, Edith, and stop crying.
He hit my knee with his cannon.
Well, she got angry because we killed her soldiers.
Oh, stop it, stop it, stop it! Can't you play any other game but soldiers? Soldiers hurting each other, killing each other. Go away from me, go away!
Jane, don't. Run along now, all of you. I'm sorry, Mum.
It's all right. Run upstairs, dear.
Yes, Mum. Come on, Cousin Edith. Come on, Joe.
I'm sorry, Cousin Edith. I didn't mean to hurt you.
Jane, I'm all right. It's just nerves. Listen, soldiers of the Queen. There's no escape from it anywhere, is there?
Shall I throw them some money and ask them to go away?
I don't care. If it isn't them, it'll be somebody else. Oh, Margaret, will these days ever end? Robert said it'd be only a little while and then it'd be all over. That was nearly 4 months ago.
News will come soon. You must have courage, Jane.
I don't believe I shall ever see Robert again.
Be brave, dear.
It's much easier to be brave when there's something to hear, something definite. I can't go on smiling through long, dragging weeks. I can't do it, Margaret.
You're not in it alone, Jane.
2 people I love best in all the world, down there suffering. I don't hear a word. It's dreadful.
Madigan is bound to be relieved within the next few days, and then it's all over. All the papers say so.
That's what they've said for months. But they're dying down there.
Please, dear.
Dying. I can't bear to think of it, and yet I can't stop thinking. I can see it at night. Come in.
Pardon me, Mama. I just thought that some nice hot tea...
Splendid, Ellen.
Tea does help, Mum. Has any news come?
Not yet, Ellen.
No news. None. We've been standing outside the War Office for hours. Then we went to Fleet Street to the newspaper offices.
Well, here's a nice cup of tea, Mum. That'll make you feel better.
Thank you, Ellen.
Well, there ain't no cause to worry about the master, Mum. He's all right. He's got my bridges with him. And if anything happened to either of them, we'd be bound to hear from one of them, if you know what I mean.
You must be fearfully worried too, Ellen.
Oh, well, on and off I am, but I says to myself that no news is good news, and what must be, must be. You'd never believe how that cheers me up, Mum.
Paper! Ellen, find out what the news is.
Yes,
Paper! Report on the price of trafficking. Paper!
It's about trafficking. Oh, Margaret!
News direction of the front. All around the board.
Wait a minute! Boy, wait!
There's Ellen. She's down there. She's speaking to him.
Ellen, what news? Are the lists of the wounded? Ellen, what is it?
nothing but what we've been hearing, Mum.
Nothing. Always the same.
Jane.
Yes?
You're going to rest.
Rest? How can I?
Then we're both going out.
Out?
I'm going now. She'll be back at 6:45.
Why?
We're going to dine at the Cafe Royal, Jane, and then go to the theater.
I couldn't.
You could and you will, Jane. It's senseless sitting at home by yourself, fretting and worrying. Doesn't do any good. Robert wouldn't want you to. What you need is life and music.
I can go.
You are going. It's a gesture, Jane. You've got to make it. Be ready at 6:45. I'll be here.
Margaret, wait! A gesture for men who are dying. Keep on. Go on playing. Play louder. Soldiers of the Queen, wounded and dying and suffering for the Queen. Play louder, play louder, play louder.
I say, come here, please. Our glasses are empty.
Directly, sir. Yes, sir.
Jane, darling, brace up.
Yes. This is a party, isn't it?
Of course. Let your mood fit your gown. You are beautiful, Jane.
Robert said the same thing New Year's Eve. He said he'd be back soon. I slept after you left me this afternoon.
Splendid.
I dreamed. Only it wasn't as if it were a dream. It was so real that Margaret.
Yes, Jane?
I saw Robert. I was with him, Margaret. I don't know where it was. I couldn't tell somehow. It was a place I'd never been before. Lovely, peaceful. And Robert was there.
Come now, drink your wine.
Robert spoke to me, tossed his hat aside, and came running to me as if he were a boy, like Joe or Edward. He laughed, cold, as he came running. He called me by name.
Jane.
Oh, Robert, you're safe.
Why, of course I am.
Jim, how is he?
As right as man can be. Let me look at you, darling.
Oh, sweetheart.
You look so tired. You haven't been worrying about me, have you?
No, not too much.
Oh, you were never a good liar. I'm glad of that, though. Not to miss me. Not to care too much.
Oh, I've missed you so, dear. But you're here, and you're... Robert.
What's wrong, dear?
Your left arm.
It's all right, Jane.
It's gone.
I do nicely without it. It was just fooling about with some youngsters. We were making believe war.
Oh.
One of them became furious when I called her a bore and threw a cannon at me. Not so sporting, I thought.
But it wasn't an arm, Robert. It was the knee.
Was it? Oh, very well. What's the difference? We'll stop playing before long. We will settle down at home. Drink a toast to the Queen.
Robert.
I saw Jim. Sent his love. Be back home before long.
Robert, wait for me. Robert. I know what that dream means. Shadows.
Jane, dear, don't be absurd.
My arm coming back, Margaret. Wars will go on forever. Boys will grow and become men. And because it's man's task to prove we're the master...
Jane, what are you saying?
Bridget was right. He told Ellen the truth. We must prove we're top dog. Men must be born and live, die. What was that?
Quiet. Quiet, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we have news from the front. Mafficking has been relieved.
Please, God, let it be true.
Our Lux Radio Theater production this evening is a cavalcade indeed. From Hollywood, the procession is headed by Herbert Marshall and Marilyn Carroll. In New York, they are joined by the brilliant author of our play, Noël Coward, famous in London and on Broadway as an actor, dancer, singer, composer, producer, and playwright. Mr. Coward outdoes himself this year by offering and acting in 9 one-act plays entitled Tonight at 8:30. We switch you now from Hollywood to the Stars dressing room at the National Theater in New York City. We can have our distinguished guest for only a moment. His own audience is still applauding his first play, and he must change his costume for the next. But here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Noël Coward.
Thank you, Mr. DeMille. I am more honored than I can tell you. Not only by your very kind words of praise, but by your having selected 3 of my plays for production in your Lux Radio Theater. All this tribute is too much. You are taking an unfair advantage in delivering it from behind the protection of the Rocky Mountains. Yes, I have been active in the theater for many years, but this is the first time I've ever played 2 theaters all in one brief evening. I'm enjoying the experience very much. I would like you to know how fine I think the Lux Radio Theater is. And I'm particularly happy that I can salute my friends Herbert Marshall, Marilyn Carroll, and Una O'Connor. This last, a very old friend to Cavalcade, as she created the part of Ellen in the original production. And I consider them perfectly cast in the principal roles. Many people have ascribed all sorts of motives to the writing of Cavalcade. Motives patriotic, political, and financial. Some people make a career of motive discovery. They search every word for a clue, like old ladies peering under the bed for burglars. The real story behind Cavalcade is very different. All my life I had wanted to do a big play on a big scale. I had considered all periods and episodes, and one day I happened to pick up a back issue of the Illustrated London News. In it was a picture of a troop ship leaving for the Boer War. The whole scheme seemed to take form in my mind, then and there. I made some tentative arrangements, but then I had to go off to America to play Private Lives. All of a sudden, early in April, Charles B. Cochrane wired me from London. I had to set an opening date for Cavalcade in order to get Drury Lane Theatre. So I took a chance for the end of September. There I was, no play, no cast, no costumes or sets, just an opening date. But we finally succeeded in opening the show just 2 weeks after the original date. Then came the critics. One of the most amusing remarks was the reference of the press to my canny, shrewd political sense. A strong patriotic play just 2 weeks before the general election. The truth is that I'd been so busy I had completely forgotten that there was to be an election at all. People have asked me what parts of Cavalcade I like best. My own choice is Queen Victoria's funeral scene and the outbreak of the war in 1914. Tonight, we are all approaching another New Year's Eve. The first scene of Cavalcade, you remember, was on that same occasion. The last scene also takes place on New Year's Eve. At the close of that scene, a toast is proposed to England. As you hear it tonight, I should like you to feel that I am proposing a toast to each of you and to your country.
Thank you, Mr. Coward. We're back in Hollywood now, and Cavalcade goes forward, starring Herbert Marshall as Robert Marriott, Madeline Carroll as Jane Marriott, and featuring Una O'Connor, David Niven, and Douglas Scott. January, in the year 1901, Mafeking has been relieved, and the soldiers of Queen Victoria start back to England and home. Robert Marriott and the butler Bridges were among the first to return. In the basement kitchen of the Marriott home, Bridges enters. He waves a newspaper excitedly.
Helen, cook! Come here, quick, quick!
And what's the matter, Mr. Bridges?
Look here, the newspaper.
Oh, don't yell so, Bridges. It can't be anything to concern us.
Helen, how can you say that? It concerns the old country. Look here, the Queen. It says she's sinking.
What? The Queen?
There, now, I told you so.
Oh, let's have a look. Oh, and she's very old, isn't she?
Old? What's that got to do with it?
Well, and I've never seen her, have I?
I have. Driving along Birdcage Walk once, years ago. England won't be the same place without the Queen.
The procession, it's coming, Mother.
Quiet, Edward. Stand back a little from the window. Let Bridges and Ellen see, too. Can you see, Ellen?
Oh, thank you, Mum. I can see. Oh, the Queen. Oh, God bless her.
Easy, girl. Easy now.
Look, Mum. There's Father. There's Father down there in the procession.
Shh, be quiet, darling. They're passing now. Stand absolutely still. To attention, like your father showed you.
Yes, Mum.
5 kings riding behind her.
Mum, she must have been a very little lady.
The death of Queen Victoria signaled the passing of the old order. Times and customs changed, and the 20th century gathered speed with the dawn of each new day.
But Robert, are you sure they're safe?
Safe? What, Nanny?
Those, what did you call them? Those automobiles.
Oh, I imagine they're safe enough. But don't worry. I won't buy one yet for a while. Here, you better hurry and get dressed. We haven't much time.
I'm almost done. How's my gown?
Lovely, darling.
And the train?
If any lady at the court has one more perfect, I shall throw up my hands. I shall probably throw them up anyway. I'm not very fond of these formal affairs, my dear. They make me nervous.
Oh, Robert, don't be silly.
I mean it. The going was far less difficult with those fellows in Africa, really.
Don't talk about that. Please.
No. What's the matter?
I'm happy tonight, Robert. I want to stay happy. War isn't happiness.
Oh, right.
Our sons, Joe and Edward, If war ever came again and took them...
It's not going to take them. Have a look at my tie, will you, darling?
Of course. I'm sorry, Robert.
That's all right. Well, am I dressed up to please you?
You're perfect. Except, where's your Victoria Cross?
Oh, here we are.
Wait, I'll put it on for you. Some men are brave enough to win the VC, but I've yet to meet one who knows how to wear it. There. Oh, I'm so proud of you, Robert. I mean, Sir Robert.
We've come a long way, Lady Jane.
A very long way. And in such a few years. It frightens me sometimes.
Here.
I mean, everything's so different, Robert.
You're happy, aren't you?
Of course, darling. And yet, haven't you ever ached right down inside for the other days?
Before the war?
If you want.
Yes, I think I have. Things are different. Things have changed. But it isn't only us. It's the whole world. It's all England. There's a new spirit to things, a new thought, a new philosophy of existence. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't even know that I care for it. But it's there. Well...
I sometimes wonder if we weren't just as happy then in a small house with just Ellen and Bridges.
Oh, good old Bridges.
I miss them, Robert. I miss Ellen.
We must run down and see them sometime. They opened a pub, after they left us.
A pub? You mean a barroom?
Well, of course. Didn't I tell you? Bridges wrote me all about it.
A pub. They've changed, too.
Not Bridges. He couldn't. He'll be the same Bridges till the day he dies.
I hope so. I don't know. She dances beautifully, Ellen.
Oh, thank you, Mum. Bridges and me has been giving her lessons now for 2 years.
Very talented, if you ask me.
Thank you, Sir Robert.
Come here, Fanny.
Yes, sir.
I don't suppose you remember me. You were just a baby when I knew you.
Yes, sir. Mama's told me how we used to live at your house.
That's enough. Now go and sit down, Fanny.
Yes, Mother.
I hear Master Robert is at Oxford College, milady.
Yes, mad about it, too. You must come and see us sometime when he's down on vacation, Ellen.
Oh, thank you, Mum.
Hello, Ellen.
Oh, hello, George.
I got the missus with me. Oh, I didn't know you had company.
Oh, please stay. Don't go on our account.
Oh, come in, Flo. We just dropped by, Ellen. We didn't know you had. This is Mr. and Mrs. George Snapper, milady. Sir Robert and Lady Marriott.
Oh.
How do you do?
Sit down, Flo. Sit down, George.
Well, thanks. A nice day out, Sir Robert.
Yes, it's really spring now.
Yes, sir.
By the way, Ellen, I'm sorry to hear Bridges is ill.
Bridges ill? What's wrong with him, Ellen?
Well, before you and Flo come, George, I was explaining to her ladyship and Sir Robert about poor Bridges' bad leg.
We were so sorry to hear about it.
Bad leg?
Ellen explained that he's been in horrible agony ever since Sunday.
Where is he? Stop kicking down my shins. Where is he, Ellen?
Upstairs in bed.
I'll pop up and see him.
He's asleep now.
Well, my eye.
By the way, Ellen, you didn't tell us how he came to have the accident.
Oh, well, he was cycling, Sir Robert. He was cycling and he fell off.
I didn't know he had a cycle.
He hasn't any more.
Will you tell him how sorry we were not to have seen him?
Yes, Sir Robert, I'll do that.
Goodbye, Ellen.
Oh, it was so kind of you, Mum, to come all the way down here to see us and to bring Fanny that lovely doll and everything.
I wanted to see you. Goodbye, Mrs. Snapper.
Happy to have met you, I'm sure.
Goodbye, Mr. Snapper.
Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, Ellen.
Goodbye, Ellen, again. Don't fail to remember me to Bridges. We miss you both. It seems as if it were only yesterday that you were with us.
We miss you, too, Mum.
Time changes many things, but it can't change old friends, can it?
Oh, no, Mum, no. There's some things that...
Yeah, what's going on here?
Oh, my Lord.
My eye. Bridges, I thought you was in bed.
Bed? Who said anything about bed?
Oh, you better go back, Bridges. Oh, remember your leg, dear.
Ain't nothing wrong with my leg.
Oh, Bridges.
Oh, so you're why she was trying to get me out of the way.
Hello, Bridges.
Pleased to meet you again, Sir Robert. Welcome to our oval.
I think we better go, Jane.
Oh, so that's how it stands. I see. Proud and haughty, are we?
Oh, Bridget, stop it. Oh, please, stop it. Oh.
Ellen, I'm so sorry, and I quite understand. Please don't be upset. and let me come and see you again.
Come along, dear.
Come along, dear. Come along. Who does he think he is?
Oh, you drunken brute!
Shut your mouth. You mind yours and I'll mind mine.
Look here, old man. You better come up and have a lie down.
Take your paw off my arm. Lot of snobs, that's what. Lot of bloody snobs. I'm not good enough to be home when the quality comes. I'll see who's good enough. Who'll give Fanny that doll? Her noble ladyship?
Oh, you let it alone.
I'll look after the truck quality brings to my home. I'll look after him, I will. I'll hand it right back to him.
George!
I'll go and fetch him. Don't worry. He's a bit woozy, that's all.
He's gone down the street. He may go up to their own.
Can't stop him.
George, let him go.
Bridges, come back here, you blighter.
Mind your own business.
Come back out of the street. There's a bus making towards you.
I'm not good enough for him.
In God's name, look out.
I'll show him who he...
Don't come out. He's been hit.
Oh, he's run over. He's dead.
The 20th century swings into its second decade. March 1912.
I say, Father.
Yes, Edward?
Father, are you going to sit up all night?
I hope not. Are you?
No, sir. I'm
You're just sitting up waiting for Joe, aren't you, Edward?
Yes, sir.
So am I. Where is he?
I don't know, sir.
Sure?
He said he was going out tonight, so that's all I know. And he said he'd be back early.
3 o'clock. That's early enough. I suppose you're going to play the Good Samaritan again. Help him up to bed.
Well, Father,
You've done it before quite a few times. Or did you think I didn't know?
Father, don't be rough with him. Joe's just a kid. He doesn't know what it's all about. He's all right.
Of course he is. That's why I want to speak to him. By the way, how's Edith?
Oh, very well.
Set the date yet?
Yes, sir. It's the 7th.
Good. She's a splendid girl, Edith. You sailing to America on your honeymoon, eh?
Well, if Edith wants to. Now, about Joe, Father. Oh, well, that must be Joe now.
I imagine so. You won't stay, will you?
Well, no, sir, that is not unless you...
Thanks, Edward.
I say, Edward, is everything clear?
Yes, quite clear, Joe. Come in.
Oh, I say, Father, I didn't know that you were downstairs.
It's all right. How are you, Joe?
Oh, I'm quite well, thanks. But I think I'll say good night.
Yes, good night, old man. Sit down, Joe. Have a good time?
Tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Splendid.
I was out with some of the lads. We did the town a bit. You know how it is.
Of course. I used to go out with the lads myself. Oh, we had some gay old times. Used to stay out till all hours.
Really?
Yes. Once in a while.
Oh.
You fellows go a good deal faster than we did, of course. Things were speeded up so. Only the other night, your mother and I went to a restaurant after the theater. First time I'd been for years. There were a lot of young people there. I was quite surprised.
Surprised?
The way they were carrying on. Oh, I wasn't shocked or anything like that, but it was so different. So utterly different from anything I'd ever known. It was unhealthy somehow. There was a young fellow off in the corner with a party. Fellow about your age, Joe. He had a girl with him. Very pretty girl, too. But they'd both been drinking quite a lot. Wasn't a very pleasant sight. Luckily, your mother had her back to them. But I didn't want to take any chances. I took her out of the place. On the way home, I got to thinking. I thought, I'm glad that boy wasn't Joe. If it had been Joe, it would have hurt horribly.
What restaurant was it, sir?
Cafe Royal.
I see.
Ever been there, Joe?
Yes, sir. You say that you took Mother out?
That's right.
She didn't see?
No. Well, good night, Joe.
Good night, sir.
See you in the morning.
Yes, sir. And Father?
Well?
Thank you for taking Mother out.
April the 14th, 1912. On the high seas off Newfoundland.
Edith.
Yes, Edward?
Darling, stand here close to the rail.
Oh, it's glorious. But it's too big, the Atlantic, isn't it?
Far too big.
And too deep.
Much, much too deep.
I don't care a bit, do you?
Not a scrap.
Wouldn't it be awful if a magician came to us and said, unless you count accurately every single fish in the Atlantic, you'll die tonight?
And we should die tonight.
How much would you mind dying, I mean?
I don't know, really. A good deal, I expect.
I don't believe I should mind so very much now. You see, we could never in our whole lives be happier than we are now, could we?
Darling, there are different sorts of happiness.
This is the best sort.
Oh, sweetheart.
Don't, darling. We don't want any more of the stewards to know we're on our honeymoon.
Why not? Most of them forgot what a honeymoon's like.
Did you ever think when we were children, going to the pantomime and going to the zoo and playing soldiers, that we should ever be married?
Of course I didn't.
Was I a nice child?
Horrible.
So were you. So was Joe. Vile. You always used to take sides against me.
And yet we all liked one another, really.
I think I liked Joe better than you. But then he was younger and easier to manage. He was awfully funny at the wedding, wasn't he?
Yes, he has no reverence, I'm afraid. Absolutely none.
He's passing gallantly through the chorus girl phase now, isn't he?
Gallantly, but not quickly.
You had several love affairs before you married me, didn't you?
Light of my life, please shut up.
You'd be awfully cross if I'd had, wouldn't you?
Did you?
Hundreds.
Liar.
Oh. I rather wish I had, really. Perhaps I should have learned some tricks to hold you with when you begin to get tired of me.
Oh, I never shall, darling.
Oh, yes, you will. One day. The loveliness we feel now will fade, and the guilt wear off the gingerbread.
Tell me, have you ever seen gingerbread with guilt on it?
Never.
Then that's settled.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, look at Father and Mother. They're perfectly happy.
They had a better chance at the beginning. Things weren't changing so swiftly. Life wasn't so restless.
How long do you give us?
I don't know. I don't care. This is our moment, Edward. Complete and heavenly. This is our own. Forever.
Wireless message for you, sir.
Oh, thank you, Stuart. I'll take it here.
A wireless message for us?
Nobody else, darling. Look here. Mr. and Mrs. Edward Marriott. On board the steamship Titanic.
The new century speeds on to a climax of love and hate, of fire and blood, of steel against steel. August the 4th, 1914.
Robert, help me off with these dust sheets. We'll get a woman in tomorrow and clean up.
All right, dear.
I shall never go on a holiday again. Ever. It's horrid when you're there, and it's much worse when you come back.
Still, it is better to be here in London, Jane, if anything's going to happen.
It's going to happen, all right. I'm afraid there's no doubt about it now. Oh, it's so hot I can't breathe, Robert.
Hello, Mother.
Oh, Joe, darling.
It's grand to see you back. How are you, Father?
Fine, thanks.
Cigarettes?
No, son, no.
They're pretty exciting, all the things that are happening, aren't they?
Yes.
Rather like Germans, don't you?
Enormously.
There is a war. How long do you think it will last?
3 months at the outside.
I suppose we shall win, shan't we?
Robert.
What's wrong, dear?
I'm going upstairs for a minute. I shan't be long.
All right, darling.
I say, the war might last for 6 months, don't you think?
Oh, impossible. Have you any idea, Joe, what a war costs in actual money?
I suppose quite a lot.
Yes. And the Germans can afford it even less than we can.
Are you glad you left the army, or sorry?
Absolutely delighted.
Will you go back again?
I expect so.
I'll go, too.
You want to?
Terribly.
Why?
I don't know. I just want to. I wish Edward was still here. We could have started off together.
Now, don't be too impulsive, Joe. Think of your mother. Think of me. You're all we have left now.
Piper, war declared against Germany. Piper.
Father, do you hear?
Robert, what is it?
England is at war, my dear.
War. It's hot, isn't it?
Don't look so sad, Mum. It won't last long. I say, Father, we ought to have some wine. We must drink to this.
We've only hot. We'll have to drink to the downfall of Germany in her own wine.
Here.
Edward missed this. I'm glad.
Jane.
He died when he was happy, before the world broke over his head.
Don't say that, Jane. We've had wars before without the world breaking.
Drink to war, then, if you want. I'm not going to. I can't. Rule Britannia. Send us victorious, happy and glorious. Drink, Joey. You're on your baby still, but you're old enough for war. Drink like the Germans are drinking. To victory and defeat. And stupid, tragic sorrow. But leave me out of it.
Pause for station identification. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. Herbert Marshall, Marilyn Carroll, and our all-star cast will be back in the Lux Radio Theater presentation of Cavalcade shortly. For the moment, let's drop in at Universal Studios. It's after closing time for Sally B., secretary to a famous producer. But Sally won't go home. She's still hoping for that invitation out on New Year's Eve. The telephone rings. She picks up the receiver hopefully.
Hello, yes? Oh, hello, Alice. I thought it might be somebody else. New Year's Eve? Guess I'll go to bed. What? Oh, no, I have something to wear. Just remade my old blue velvet. Well, I can't dance alone, can I? Oh, I'm sorry. But it does seem everybody's going out but me. Oh, I'm not bitter. You'll be fed up, too. What are you driving at? Oh, don't be silly, Alice. If you have something to say, say it. Complexion? What about it?
And now, on the other end of the wire, Alice is telling Sally, and truthfully so, that a girl is out of the picture where men are concerned unless her complexion is lovely. Important to guard against cosmetic skin. Its dullness, tiny blemishes, enlarging pores spoil good looks, ruin your chances for romance. Begin the new year right. Use for your complexion the care screen stars use, Lux Toilet Soap. Its active lather removes dust and dirt, stale rouge and powder thoroughly. Prevents the pore choking that causes cosmetic skin. You can use powder and rouge as much as you like, but before you put on fresh makeup, always before you go to bed, remove your stale makeup the Lux Toilet Soap way. This year, Lux Toilet Soap has kept many thousands of complexions lovely. Next year, let your complexion grow soft and smooth with this gentle care. Remember, 9 out of 10 screen stars use Lux Toilet Soap. Once again, Mr. DeMille.
Cavalcade continues, starring Herbert Marshall, Marilyn Carroll, with Una O'Connor, David Niven, and Douglas Scott. Time swings in its orbit. Men battle, men die. The whole world roars in chaos. Once more, we're in the Marriott drawing room. It's the morning of November 11th, 1918. Ellen has just entered. Jane goes to her with outstretched hands.
Ellen, oh, I am glad to see you. I couldn't believe my eyes when you first walked in. Sit down.
I just thought I'd call, madam.
I'm glad you did. So glad. These are lonely days, aren't they, Ellen?
My call's rather important, as a matter of fact.
How's Fanny?
Oh, very well.
I'm never going to forget how she danced the last time we saw her.
She's dancing in Over the Moon now, you know.
Yes, I went the other night. She was splendid. I felt very proud to know her.
It's about her I've come to see you.
Is anything wrong?
Well, no, not exactly.
What is it?
About her and Joe.
Joe?
Yes.
I don't understand, Ellen.
Well, they've been what you might call in love. Yes.
My Joe?
Yes, your Joe. His last 2 leaves, he spent a lot of time with Fanny.
Oh, I see.
I wouldn't have come to see about it at all, only, well, now that the war's over, or almost over, that is, and he'd be coming home, I thought that...
What did you think?
Well, I thought they ought to get married.
Does Fanny want to marry him?
Oh, I haven't talked to her about it. She doesn't know I know.
And how do you know?
I found a letter he wrote.
And you read it?
Of course. I brought it with me. I knew you'd want to see it.
I do not wish to read it.
Oh, I see.
I think we'd better let the whole thing stand until Joe comes home. Then he and Fanny can decide what they wish to do.
Oh, I didn't wish to upset you.
I'm not in the least upset.
It's been on my mind.
But you didn't tell Fanny before you came here. I think I know why. In any case, I never interfere with my son's affairs.
Well, sure, I'm very sorry.
That's all. Goodbye, Ellen.
I suppose you imagine that my daughter isn't good enough to marry your son. Well, if that's the case, I can assure you that you're very much mistaken. Fanny's received everywhere. She knows all the best people.
How nice for her. I wish I did.
Oh, things aren't what they used to be, you know. Oh, no. It's all changing.
Yes, I see it is.
Fanny's at the top of the tree now. Oh, she's having the most wonderful office.
Oh, Ellen.
What is it?
I'm so sorry, so sorry.
Don't know what you mean.
Oh, yes, you do, inside. You must understand, Ellen. Something seems to have gone out of all of us. Goodbye, Ellen.
Your pardon, milady.
Yes? What is it, Belden?
A telegram.
Thank you.
It's all over, milady. The war's over. It's 11 o'clock. Milady.
There's no answer, Belden. No answer.
Milady, is anything wrong?
Oh, ma'am. Oh, quick, what's happened? What's in that telegram?
You needn't worry about Fanny and Joe, Ellen. He won't be able to come back anymore. Because he's dead.
Dead? Oh, God. Oh, dear God.
More years roll by. December the 31st, 1936.
Jane, dear.
Oh, yes, Robert?
Were you asleep?
No, dear. I was just sitting here, thinking, and watching the crowds go by in the street.
Did Franklin bring the champagne up?
There it is, by the table.
Good.
Well, Robert, here we go again.
I believe you will laugh at me inside for my annual sentimental outburst.
No, dear. I don't laugh at you.
One more year behind us.
One more year before us.
Do you mind?
Oh, no. Everything passes. Even time.
It seems incredible, doesn't it? Here we are in this same room.
Yes. I've hated it for years.
Do you want to move?
Of course not.
We might have some new curtains.
We have, dear.
And I never noticed.
They've only been up a week.
They look very nice.
Robert, what toast have you in mind for the night? Something gay and original, I hope.
Just our old friend, the future. The future of England.
Quick, it's starting. The champagne. Hurry.
I can't get the thing open.
Let me try.
There it is. Here, Jane.
First of all, my dear, I drink to you. Loyal and loving always.
God bless you, Jane. Now, let us couple the future of England with the past of England. The glories and victories and triumphs that are over. And the sorrows that are over, too.
Let's drink to our sons who made part of the pattern. And to our hearts that died with them.
Let's drink to the spirit of gallantry that made a strange heaven out of unbelievable hell. And let's drink to the hope that one day, this country of ours, which we love so much, will find dignity and greatness and peace again.
Herbert Marshall and Marilyn Carroll have a word for us in a few moments. But now, a curtain slowly falls. The cavalcade is gone. Gone to the home of straight ascending smoke, of distant melodies, of white sails that vanish on a red horizon. Gone to the home of all brave things that flourish, fade, and disappear, to live again in memories. To England I give thanks. Thanks for showing the world how to muddle through. Thanks for her patriots and poets, for roast beef and plum pudding, for Trafalgar and tobacco, for kippers and Kipling, for bowler hats and bowling on the green, and for performers like Marilyn Carroll and Herbert Marshall, who now rejoin us. Miss Carroll, Mr. Marshall.
Many thanks, Mr. DeMille. And to paraphrase the words of Gilbert and Sullivan's Mr. Gilbert, I might have been a Russian, a Frenchman, Turk, or Prussian, or perhaps Italian. But in spite of all temptations to belong to other nations, I remain an Englishman.
Then perhaps you or Bart can tell me why it is that only mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the noonday sun.
I refer to you, Mr. Marshall.
You're putting me nicely on the spot. I can't answer that, Mr. DeMille, but I can tell you what happened when a mad dog bit an Englishman.
That's hardly news, Bart. But go right ahead.
It's a tale related by another English poet, Oliver Goldsmith, and runs something like this. The dog and man at first were friends, but when a pique began, the dog, to gain some private ends, went mad and bit the man. The wound, it seemed, both sore and sad to every Christian eye. And while they swore the dog was mad, they swore the man would die. But soon a wonder came to light that showed the rogues they lied. The man recovered of the bite. The dog it was that died.
Proving perhaps that all Englishmen should be muzzled. But before that happens to me, I want to add just a word of appreciation of Lux Toilet Soap. To me, it's just as important in my dressing room as a mirror. It's really an international beauty care. For in England, too, actresses turn to Lux Soap for keeping complexions at their loveliest, just as we do here in Hollywood. In fact, I was using Lux Toilet Soap when I was teaching school, so you can see we're friends of long standing.
I want to thank you, too, Mr. DeMille, for the opportunity to play Robert Marriott in what I think is one of the greatest dramas of our generation. Plays like this are characteristic of the Lux Radio Theater and bring to the air a dignity and prestige equaling the highest traditions of the legitimate stage. Cavalcade is a play for the new year. Perhaps it's neither my place nor my talent to stand here and deliver a message. Cavalcade can do it so much better. Yet, how splendid a thing is love of fellow men, of country and of peace. A few days more, and in Hollywood, in Times Square, in London, and in all their counterparts the world over, there will be a sound of bells and celebration. Let's hope that when they ring again, in another 12 months, they'll echo through a world a little closer to understanding itself, a little more tolerant, a little nearer to the truth that it is a good old world, and they serve their country best, who serve the cause of peace. Good night.
Good night, Mr. DeMille.
Good night, and thanks to you both.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your announcer, Melville Ruick. Mr. Marshall appeared through courtesy of RKO Studios and Columbia Pictures. Miss Carroll through Walter Wanger Productions. I refer you now to Mr. DeMille.
Your season ticket in the Lux Radio Theater is renewed next Monday night when we salute 1937 by starring Spencer Tracy, Virginia Bruce, and Francis Farmer. Our play is one which met with tremendous enthusiasm on both stage and screen. The Pulitzer Prize play, Men in White. We shall hear Mr. Tracy in the role of Dr. George Ferguson, intern. Miss Farmer as Barbara Denon, and Miss Bruce as Laura Hudson, the girl whose love stands between Ferguson and his profession in this gripping story of clashing loyalties. Our sponsors, the makers of Lux Toilet Soap, join me in inviting you to be with us again next Monday night when the Lux Radio Theater presents Spencer Tracy, Virginia Bruce, and Francis Farmer in Men in White. High over Asia, the sun is racing westward, emblazoning the final days of a departing year. But a new sun shall rise with the new year, and may it make a brighter world for you. This is Cecil B. DeMille, wishing you a glorious new year from Hollywood.
This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
Lux presents Hollywood. The Lux Radio Theater brings you the great Gildersleeve, Una Merkel, and Beulah Bondi in The Show-Off. Ladies and gentlemen, your producer, Mr. Cecil B. DeMille.
Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. The night Fibber McGee and Molly introduced a new character into their show called Gildersleeve, I'm sure no one could have foreseen the fantastic success story to which we add another chapter tonight. Mr. Gildersleeve made a great hit with Fibber and Molly's audience and soon had a radio program of his own. Then came a series of pictures at RKO. And tonight, we've cast him in one of the great comedy hits of the American theater. It's George Kelly's famous play, The Show-Off. And to show off the great Gildersleeve in a proper setting, we've co-starred him with Una Merkel and Beulah Bondi. You'll find another name on Gildersleeve's birth certificate, Harold Perry to be exact, but Mr. Perry has been swallowed up by Mr. Gildersleeve to the great enjoyment of the American people. In The Show-Off, he plays Aubrey Piper, a gentleman with a talent for getting into trouble. Witness the case of his brother-in-law's invention, which you'll hear more about in just a moment. Some inventors are remembered by everyone. The names of others are lost in the fog of time. The airplane, the electric light, the wireless, any school child knows who was responsible for them. But nobody knows who invented the wheel or who invented soap. Yet someone did invent soap hundreds of years before it reached the level of perfection that's called Lux toilet soap. I leave it to you. How many modern inventions would you give up before you do without soap? In research for a picture about Cleopatra, which I made a few years ago, I discovered that she had several ladies in waiting whose job it was to help her keep beautiful. But all the wealth and power of the ancient Queen of Egypt didn't serve her half as well as the queen of any American home is served by a cake of Lux toilet soap. But now the show goes on with the show-off. And here's the first act, starring the great Gildersleeve as Aubrey Piper, Una Merkel as Amy, and Beulah Bondi as Mrs. Fisher. It's 8 o'clock on a Wednesday evening, and Amy Fisher is aflutter with excitement. 8 o'clock Wednesday is a big moment in Amy's life, for at 10 after, a certain party will ring the doorbell of the little frame house near Philadelphia. Hurriedly, she dabs a powder puff at her nose, and then, hearing the front door open, she rushes to the head of the stairs.
Mama? Mama, was that the door?
Yes, it was. It was your sister.
Oh. Mama, when the bell rings, let me answer it. Hello, Clara. How's Frank? All right. Mama, did you see my blue bar pin? It was in my drawer.
Well, look in the drawer. I haven't seen it.
What's all the excitement, Mama?
Wednesday night.
Oh. Is that fella still coming here?
Oh, right on the dot, such as he is. It looks like a steady thing, Clara. You never in your life heard anybody talk so much. I don't know how Amy stands him. Your pop can hardly stay in the room where he is.
Well, doesn't she take him into the parlor?
She does, yes, but she might just as well leave him out here, because he's not in there 5 minutes till he's out here in the kitchen again talking about politics. You'd think he knew something about it. And the investment business. He's always talking about that, too. That's where he works, you know, the Billings Investment Company. He says he's head of the sales department. But I says to your brother Joe, I says, I don't know how he can be head of anything from the talk of him. Joe says he's a nut. But you don't dare say anything to Amy about him. Oh, no. She thinks he's heaven's gift to the Fisher family. And for all she knows about him, he could be a tramp in the park instead of with the Billings Company.
Well, that's where he works, though, Mom.
How do you know?
Well, Frank knows him.
You're Frank?
Uh-huh. He says he eats his lunch at the same place. They're at 15th and Arch.
And does he say he knows him?
Why, sure. He says he's seen him around there for a long time. Frank calls him Carnation Charlie. He says he's always got a big carnation in his buttonhole and carries a cane.
That's the one. He's always got it on when he comes here, too. I believe in my heart, Clara, that's what's turned your sister's head.
Oh, my.
Did Frank say what his name was?
Aubrey Piper, I think.
That's it, Aubrey Piper. Sounds more like a place than a man's name. What does he do at Billings?
He's a clerk.
A clerk. I knew it. Head of the sales department.
Hello, Clara.
Oh, hello, Pop.
Well, has that nut arrived yet?
Not yet, but he will.
I hope to heaven he stays in the parlor tonight. I want to read my paper. And if he slaps me on the back once more, I'll kill him. That laugh of his. Enough to drive a man crazy. What's that?
Must be Joe. He's down the cellar trying to fix the radio. Joe? Is that you?
Yeah. Give me a hand with the set, will you, Pop?
Oh, I thought you was going to keep it downstairs.
There isn't enough light.
Okay, thanks, Pop. Well, has that screwball come in yet?
Well, he certainly is a big hit with his family.
Laughing Louie. He's a first-class pest, that guy. Every time I'm working on something, he sticks his nose in it. What are you doing? What are you doing? You know that formula I've been working on to prevent rust? He got his nose into that the other night, too. Next time he does it, he's going to get socked.
Oh, there he is now. Amy?
Put out the light in here and shut the door. Maybe you'll think we've gone out.
Well, I've got to go.
Well, go out the back door if you don't want to be here all night. Amy!
Goodbye, Mom. Goodbye, Pop.
Goodbye. Be quiet now. If he hears a voice in here, he'll pop in here like a jumping jack.
Just a minute. Aubrey. Hello, Aubrey.
Greetings on you, little girl. How's every little thing? Hitting on all three?
Come in, Aubrey.
Right on the job, Amy. 10 minutes past on the dot. The pride of old West Philly never misses, no, sir.
I'll take your hat, Aubrey.
Anything to please the ladies. Here you are. And the boy rode off with many thanks and many a backward bow.
Oh, oh come on in the parlor, Aubrey.
1 second, little gal. One little favor. Never again will I trouble the belle of old North Philly. How about a drink of the old Aqua Pura, huh? That's water to me.
Of course, Aubrey. I'll be right back. Make yourself comfortable.
Don't you worry about me, little gal.
Amy, shut that door.
Oh, what's the matter, Mom? I just want to get a drink of water for Aubrey.
Listen, Amy, I don't want that fella popping in here.
Hi, good evening, ladies and gents. Yeah.
Oh.
Stay right where you are, folks, right where you are. Going right out on the next train. How are you, little mother? Evening, Pop. Hiya, Joe.
Hello.
Amy, step on the gas with the old Aqua Pura. Man's got to have a drink. How about it, Pop? You'll stay with me on that, eh, Pop?
Oh. Listen, I don't like to be slapped on the back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I want to tell you this is a very pretty little picture of domestic felicity. Father reading, mother knitting, and little old Joe Edison Fisher there working 18 hours a day to make the rich man richer and the poor man poorer. What about it, Popcorn? Am I right or raving?
Oh, will you let me alone and keep your hands to yourself? I never saw such a pest in my life.
Oh, what's the matter with Popsy Wopsy? Little off his feed, eh, Mother Fisher?
Here's your water, Aubrey.
Thank you, my dear. Blushing as she gave it, looking down at her feet so bare in her tattered gown. Yeah. How's that, Mother Fisher? Can't beat that little old Willie Shakespeare, now can you? No, sir, I'd like to tell the brothers that little old Shakespeare party shook a wicked spear. Yeah. Well, here's laughter, ladies. And Mr. Marconi, my best regards to you. Ah, very nice indeed. And a sweeter draught from a fairer hand was never quaffed.
Oh, you.
Well, Mr. Joseph, what are you doing? What are you doing, Joseph?
I am fixing something.
At it again, eh? The young inventor himself. Well, Mr. Joseph, I want to tell you you're wasting your time. When you're all through, they'll offer you 20 cents for it and sell it for $20 million. Take it or leave it, sign on the dotted line. Yes, sir. That's exactly what they did to little old yours truly here. 20 Lincoln anacondas for a formula that would have solved the greatest problem before the industrial chemical world today.
What kind of a formula?
Why, a formula to prevent the rusting of iron and steel. A solution of vanadium and manganese to be added to the metal in its molten state instead of applied externally.
Where did you hear that?
Hear what, my boy?
About a rust preventative using vanadium and manganese?
Little idea of my own.
Yeah? You heard it right here in this room. I was talking about it last Sunday.
Oh, you thought of it too, eh? Well, just goes to show you, Joe, great minds run in the same...
Oh, shut up. You give me a swift pain.
I love that boy. Yes, Mother Fisher, that little boy of yours has got some great ideas. I was speaking to some of the men who work under me just the other day, Mother. I said, gentlemen, the inventive genius in this country is... Where are you going, Mother?
I got a touch of the same pain. Good night.
Must be an epidemic around here.
Oh, Aubrey. Aubrey, let's go in the parlor, shall we?
Yeah. You know, Amy, sometimes I get a funny feeling that your folks don't like me. Many brave hearts are asleep in the deep, so beware, well, a little high, I guess.
Yes, Mother, do you want something?
I just wanted to tell you that it's nearly 12 o'clock. We're all going to bed around here.
I was just about to take my reluctant leave, little Mother.
Well, I don't want to hurry you.
Not at all, not at all. In fact, the recent outburst was in the nature of a farewell concert. A little old song at twilight, you know, Mother Fisher, to soothe the savage beast. Yeah.
Come on, Aubrey. I'll walk to the gate with you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's a beautiful night, all right.
Oh, isn't it?
Look at that moon up there, Amy. Is that a moon or is that a moon? I say it's a moon.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah. You know, it's times like this when a man gets to thinking, Amy.
Does he, Aubrey?
Yes, sir. That old moon up there makes you think a lot of things. A man's got to be pretty careful.
Oh.
But when a man's knocked around the world like I have, a man gets pretty wise. When a man meets the right girl, a man knows he's met the right girl. Do you follow me?
I think so, Aubrey.
Amy, you think a married couple can be happy on $100 a week?
Oh, Aubrey, yes, I do.
Be nice if they had it, too.
Aubrey, is that how much you...
Well, more or less. Right now, it's a little less. But I'm thinking of putting over a deal, Amy, just between us two, you know.
I don't think it makes any difference how much a man makes. I think when a girl cares for a man, loves a man, that's all that counts. The only important thing in the world, or should be, even if he doesn't have a dime, don't you?
Well, I got 2 nickels.
No. I mean, don't you think about love?
Oh, sure. Ever since I was 14, Amy. Yes, sir. It's a little old Cupid dart that counts.
And after all, you can't buy happiness, can you?
Definitely not. So they say. Well?
Well?
Amy, what do you think, huh?
You mean about...
Yeah, what do you say? Is it a go? Say yes, Amy. Say you'll pool your coffee ration with me.
Aubrey, you mean will I marry you?
That's the general thought I'm trying to convey.
Oh, Aubrey, yes, I will, Aubrey, any time you say.
Amy Piper.
I'm not going to let you do it. I won't stand for it.
Oh, Mama, stop it. I'm going to marry him, and that's all there is to it.
But you don't even know him. You don't know what he does or how much he makes or anything about him.
I don't have to. I know I like him, and that's enough.
All right. But remember this, Amy. Be sure that he keeps you, and you keep him. And don't be coming around here for your pop to keep you.
Mama, don't make me laugh. Aubrey's got a wonderful position. He makes plenty of money.
Who says so?
I just know from the way he talks. He makes at least $100 a week.
Who ever heard of a clerk making $100 a week?
A clerk? Where did you hear that?
From Frank Highland.
What does Frank Highland know about it?
He knows Aubrey Piper, and Frank says he's a clerk down there just like 5 million others.
Oh, that just shows how much he knows about it. Aubrey told me he makes $100 a week, and what's more, he's going to swing a great big deal pretty soon.
The only thing he'll ever swing is that cane he carries. Amy, dear, I'm warning you once and for all.
Oh, Mama, why don't you let me make my own life? You took who you wanted, didn't you? And Clara took the man she wanted. Well, I'm going to take what I want, and I want Aubrey Piper.
So you'd like a raise, eh, Piper?
Well, that's the general idea I was trying to convey, Mr. Williams.
What for?
Well, the way I figured is this. A man's going to get married. Well, when a man gets married, he's got to have enough to support a wife, right?
Right.
And I figure about $100 a week, maybe a little more.
How much do you make now, Piper?
35. Not very much, Mr. Williams.
No, it isn't. But this investment business isn't what it used to be either.
Yes, sir, but...
35 is all you're worth, Piper.
But, Mr. Williams...
From what I've seen of your ability, it's more than you're worth.
Yes, sir.
Now, would you like 35 or nothing at all?
No, sir.
What makes you think you're entitled to a raise?
Well,
You don't have to get married, do you?
No, sir.
Then put it off for a while.
Yes, sir, but
That's all, Piper. That's all. Goodbye.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, Piper.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Huh?
Look, how did it go? Where did you get the raise?
Oh, the raise. Oh, yes, we talked it over, the boss and I. He's going to sleep on it. I hope he has nightmares.
Oh, gee, pretty lucky, Piper.
Well, there's nothing to it if you got the right approach, Fred. I got in a good word for you, too.
Yeah? Oh, gee, thanks.
Well, I'll go to lunch now. Got to feed the old furnace, you know. See you around, Fred.
Yeah. Hi, Aubrey. What'll it be?
Hi, Sam. I'll have a ham on rye and a chocolate frosting. And don't spare the ice cream, Sam.
2 scoops?
Oh, 2 scoops, sure. What do I care?
That's a nickel extra, Aubrey.
Slap it in there, Sam. You know Piper, the old sport himself.
Sure. 1 ham on, 1 frosted. Scoop a double.
Aubrey.
Amy, what are you doing way down here?
Aubrey, I have to speak to you.
Say, I'm glad you came, Amy. You know that deal I was talking about? Well, it didn't go through, honey. I mean...
Aubrey, listen.
So I was just thinking maybe if we could postpone getting married.
Aubrey, I've got to tell you, darling, it's awfully important. I've done it, Aubrey.
Huh? Done what?
I've done it. I've left home.
You left... Oh...
Oh, I just had to. I couldn't stand it anymore, and I just told Mama. I said, I'm leaving, Mama, and that's that.
You told Mama, huh? Oh. Well, I was just going to tell you, Amy. That deal, I mean, where are you going to live?
I don't know. I haven't even thought about it. I've burned my bridges, Aubrey.
You burned mine, too. Oh, well, I guess we better get married pretty soon then, huh?
Oh, Aubrey, do you suppose we could?
Oh, sure. You just leave everything to me.
Oh, Aubrey, that'd be wonderful. And it doesn't really make any difference, does it? I mean, we were going to be married anyway, and, well, you make so much money and all, and... Oh, Aubrey, tell me it's all right.
Oh, it's fine, Amy. It's fine. Just a minute. Hey, Samuel. Samuel.
Yeah?
Cancel that extra scoop, will you?
Act 2 of The Show-Off, starring the great Gildersleeve as Aubrey Piper, Beulah Bondi as Mrs. Fisher, and Una Merkel as Amy. Six months have passed, and the romance of Amy and Aubrey has blossomed into marriage. Amy is too proud to admit it to her family, but she has discovered, as wives sometimes do, that her mate is more talk than action. He's not the head of his department, nor does he earn the expected $100 per week. And now, in the Piper kitchenette, the financial question has again reared its ugly head.
Bills. Aubrey, what are we going to do?
How's the coffee coming along, Amy? Boy can't be late to work, you know.
Aubrey, listen to me.
Sure, what's on your mind?
Aubrey, we've just got to get some money. We can't go on like this any longer.
Why not? We've been getting along fine.
Have we? Look at this. We owe $30 to the butcher, $23 to the grocer, $8.10 to the milkman, and the janitor was here about the rent again.
I'll speak to him on the way out.
On your way out is right. He's going to throw us out Friday.
You mean he's threatened us? Why, he can't get away with that. I'll break the lease. That's what I'll do. How about a piece of toast, honey?
Aubrey, he can get away with it. We've got to pay up or get out.
All right, we'll get out. I never liked this place anyway. The bathtub gurgles. Have you got any peanut butter?
Aubrey, how can I make you understand?
Listen, honey, do me a favor, will you? Forget about it. Everything's going to be fine.
Is it? How?
You just keep your eye on the boy from West Philly, that's all. Now, I didn't want to mention this, but I'm working on a deal right now that'll put us right up there on top. Where's the jelly?
What kind of a deal, Aubrey?
Never mind, you'll see.
But I want to know.
Well, it's a little idea I've had in the back of my head for a long time.
What idea?
It's pretty technical, Amy.
Aubrey, tell me, what is it?
Well, it's a rust preventative. A combination of magnesium and vanadium added.
Oh, Aubrey, that's Joe's idea. That's the thing he's been working on for years.
Oh, beat me to it, eh? Well, the more power to him.
Oh, Aubrey.
Good evening to you one and all. Hello, Mother Fisher.
Oh, hello. It's you, is it?
What's the good word, Mother? Been siphoning out any gas tanks lately? Where's Amy? Is she here?
No, ain't she home?
No, I just came by there.
Well, she ain't been here today.
Yeah, she was saying this morning she thought she'd go out and look for a house today. I suppose she hasn't got back yet. I wanted to take her to the movies. I got the loan of Harry Albright's car.
Did you say she was out looking for a house?
Yeah, we got to get out of that place we're in. The Acme machine people have bought the whole block. They're going to put up a new factory there.
How soon do you have to get out?
Friday. I mean, as soon as we can find another place.
Well, I'm afraid you won't find it so easy to get a place as reasonable as that again in a hurry.
I don't want a place as reasonable as that. I want a real home, Mamma Mia. Something with ground around it. Where I can do a bit of tennis in the evening.
Well, if you do, you'll pay for it.
That's exactly what I expect to do, Mother Fisher. Not giving you a short answer, of course. That's exactly what I expect to do. And no more of the old first-of-the-month business for this growing boy. He's all washed up, signed on the dotted line. I'm going to buy, Mother.
Buy? Buy what?
A house, Mother Fisher. A real little home. You ought to go out along the boulevard some Sunday. Some fine little buys out there.
Well, there's no danger of your going out along the boulevard except for a walk.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people out that way, Mother. And a man's got to live someplace.
Well, if he's wise, he'll live where he's able to pay for it. Besides, you haven't got any furniture for a house, unless you don't mind sitting on the floor.
The matter of furniture nowadays, little Mother, is a very inconsequential item.
It still costs money, don't it?
Money. That's something that never worries me.
I know, but it worries me.
Yeah.
How are you going to buy furniture when you haven't got any money to even buy a house?
Don't fret, Mater. There's things in the wind. Things in the wind.
Well, there ought to be. There's plenty of it.
Plenty of what, Mother?
Plenty of wind.
Yeah. Well, right there with the old sense of humor, eh? Well, I guess I'll mooch along.
Yes, mooch.
Oh, say. If Amy calls, tell her I got the loan of Harry Albright's car. Fred Myers and I will meet her in front of the Rivoli at 8 bells.
I suppose you mean 8 o'clock, don't you?
Give the lady a cigar, Professor. Well, cheerio, Mrs. Whistler.
Who?
Mrs. Whistler. Man's dream of an ideal mother.
Oh, shut up, you fool. Go on, mooch.
Yeah. Cheerio, gal. Many brave hearts are asleep in the deep.
Hello, Aubrey.
Well, Jojo, the dog-faced boy. How's the lad?
Huh? Oh, I'm okay, fine.
What's the matter, Joe? You look excited.
Well, I am, in a way. Look, Aubrey, can you keep your mouth shut about something?
You can trust me, Jose. Sphinx Piper, my friends call me.
What?
Sphinx.
Oh.
Well, Joe, what's the big secret?
Well, I sold it.
Sold it? Sold what?
My invention, the rust preventative.
No.
Yeah, I was down at the Miller Grant office all day. I went over the whole thing with them, and we're going to tie it all up Monday morning.
Nice work, Mr. Joseph. I hope you got yourself a good slice of the old moolah.
I think it's all right. They're going to give me $50,000 for it.
50,000. Well, not bad, not bad. First offer, I suppose.
First and last. I'm grabbing it.
Don't be a sucker, Joe. Give them the old hard-to-get treatment. They'll come through with twice that.
Oh, no. This is too good to fool around with. Anyway, I'm satisfied. You know, we can do a lot with that money.
We certainly can.
I was talking about the family.
Oh, the family. Yes, of course. That's what I meant. But I still think you could get more, Joe. What you need is somebody to go in there and talk to those guys. Somebody to...
Cut it out, will you? I'm satisfied. I'm sorry I mentioned it to you at all.
Hey, Aubrey, what do you say?
Right there, Fred. Well, best of luck, Joe, my boy.
Don't forget now, don't say anything about it.
Mum's the word, Joe. Mum's the word.
Hey, Aubrey, I thought you said you knew how to drive.
What's the matter, Fred? We're getting there, aren't we?
Yeah, but I hate to think what Harry's car's going to be like.
Don't you worry about the car, Fred. Everything's under control.
Yeah, so I hear.
Got a slipping clutch, that's what it is.
Hey, that's a red light. You better stop.
Huh?
Oh, boy, Aubrey. You're about the world's worst. I think I better get out and walk.
Oh, we'll be there any minute. Just let that little old light give me the go-ahead, Fred, and we'll be zipping on our way. Here we go.
Hey, watch it.
What's the matter?
Look out for that car. Look out. Look out.
Did you see that guy? He cut right in front of me.
Listen, Aubrey, that was a police car.
A what?
A police car. You slammed right into a police car.
All right, keep moving there. Move along. Hey, you.
Good evening, officer. Had a little brush here. Nothing serious, I hope, eh?
Oh, no. You just knocked 3 of our wheels off, that's all.
I'd like to take a sock at that dope. Where is he?
Now, take it easy, Mike. You go along and have that arm fixed. I'll take care of this fella. Go along now.
All right, but you better report about the car.
Don't worry, Mike.
Did that other gendarme get hurt?
Oh, no. I think it's just a little matter of a broken arm. Nothing serious, as you say.
Broken arm? Well, how did that happen?
I'm not sure, but I think he was waving to a friend. He threw it out of joint.
Very good.
All right, let's see your license.
License? License. Oh, you mean my driver's license.
You know what I mean.
Sure. Let me see now. That's not it. That's not it. Oh, my draft card. 4 PH.
PH?
Positively hopeless.
They ain't kidding either.
Yeah. You got me that time. Now, let's see.
Come on. Give me your license.
Well, officer, I'll tell you the truth. You beat me to it by 3 days.
What are you talking about?
Well, I've been meaning to get a license for some time. As a matter of fact, I was going down there for one next Tuesday.
Just a minute. Am I hearing things? Are you trying to tell me that you don't have a license?
You got me again, officer.
I've got you all right. Get out of that car.
Now, wait a minute.
I can't understand it. I waited at the movies for over an hour. If he wasn't going to come, he would have called here, wouldn't he?
Don't ask me what he'd do.
I'm beginning to get worried.
He says you've got to get out of that place you're in.
Yes, that's what I was doing today, looking around for something.
Did you see anything?
Oh, I saw a couple of places that were fair, but they want too much money.
You're not really looking for a house, are you, Amy?
Yes, if I can find one. Aubrey says he will not live in rooms any longer, and he doesn't want to pay rent. He wants to buy.
Amy, I thought you had a little sense, but you're nearly as bad as him.
You talk awfully silly, Mother. You'd think everybody that was married was living out in the street.
Well, that's where a good many of them would be living, Amy, only that somebody belonging to them is giving them a hand. You're everlasting borrowing as it is.
Well, I always pay it back, don't I?
You do when you get it, but that's not the point, Amy. It's that what you get one week don't last you till the next.
Oh, Mother, let me alone. If you're trying to make me say I'm sorry I married Aubrey, well, I'm not. I'm glad I married him, and I wouldn't change him for anyone else I ever met in my life. So there.
All right, Amy, but someday that man's going to bring trouble on us. I can feel it in my bones.
He won't bring trouble. And if he does, it'll be between him and me. You don't have to worry.
All right, Amy. Is that you, Joe?
It's me, Mom.
Oh, hello, Clara. What you doing here?
Well, I don't know. Isn't Frank here?
You're Frank?
He called up the house and said I better get right over here. It was something about Aubrey.
What about Aubrey?
Well, I don't know. I couldn't understand what he was saying. Oh, I hear you moving, Amy.
Yes, we are. We want a house.
A house? Oh, Amy, if you can't pay your rent where you are, how do you expect to pay more?
How do you know I'm not able to pay my rent where I am?
Now, don't you start a fight, Amy.
Oh, but I'd just like to know what business it is of hers, whether I can pay my rent or not. Nobody's asking her to pay it.
Oh, no? Well, your husband's been to Frank Highland twice already to pay it.
What?
That's a lie. It is not. He's asked him twice and got it, too. till I put a stop to it.
Mama, make her take that back.
I won't. It's true.
Now, you hush up, both of you. I guess if Clara says it's true, Amy, she must know. And it just goes to prove what I said.
Oh, let me alone.
I told her that man would start trouble. Well, now, who should arrive?
Oh, buenas noches, little mother. Is Amy here?
For land's sake, what's happened to you? What's that bandage on your head?
Bandage? Oh, yes. Nothing to get upset about. Beginning to rain outside, Mother.
Never mind the rain. The rain didn't do that to you. I guess you ran into somebody, didn't you?
Don't get excited, Mama. Just a little misunderstanding on the part of the traffic officer.
You don't mean to tell me that you ran into a traffic officer?
Control now, little Mother. I assure you there's no occasion for undue solicitation. Good evening, Clara.
What happened to your head?
The veriest trifle, Mrs. Highland. Just a little spray from the windshield.
Where's that car you borrowed? Smashed, I guess, ain't it?
The car I borrowed, Mother Fisher, is now in the hands of the bandits of the law. The judicial gentlemen who collect fines from motorists by ordering them to go one way and then swearing they told them to go another.
Never mind your fancy talk. I want to know who you killed and where's the automobile that someone was fool enough to lend you.
The automobile, little Mother, is perfectly safe, parked and pasturing in the courtyard of the police station.
So you got arrested?
Well, I accompanied the officer as far as the station house, yes. And while I was there, I told them a few things about the condition of traffic in this city.
I guess they told you a few things, too, didn't they?
Repeat the question, please.
Oh, shut up.
Yes.
What did they do? Fine you?
Well, they were all set to find me. But when I got through with them, they didn't have a leg to stand on. So they trumped up a charge of driving an automobile without a license.
Did they take the automobile away from you?
Nothing of the sort. They simply complied with the usual procedure in a case of this kind, which is to release the defendant on bond pending the extent of the victim's injuries.
So there was somebody injured?
The traffic cop that ran into me.
For heaven's sake, couldn't you find anybody but a traffic cop to run into?
I didn't run into him, Mother. You don't understand the circumstances of the case.
Well, I understand this much. They can give you 10 years for a thing like that, and it'd just serve you right if they did, too. Borrowing people's automobiles and knowing no more about running them than I do.
No time like the present to learn, Mother.
Well, you'll have plenty of time from now on if that officer's seriously injured.
He was faking a broken arm around there when I left.
Oh.
But it's a wonder to me the poor goof wasn't signed on the dotted line. He ran head-on right into me.
Did they take the cop to the hospital?
I believe they did.
Oh,
Aubrey, what happened to you?
Well, the little woman herself. Hi, Amy.
What is it, Aubrey?
Nothing in the world, baby. I had a little mix-up on Broad and Erie Avenue.
You didn't get hurt, did you?
Nothing but a scratch on the medulla oblongata. Just a little shake-up.
He nearly killed a traffic officer. That's how much of a shake-up it was.
You didn't, Aubrey, did you?
Certainly not, Amy. Your mother's raving.
The man's in the hospital. I don't know what more you want.
Is he, Aubrey?
You think I'd be here if he was?
You wouldn't be here only that someone was fool enough to bail you out instead of letting you stay there where you couldn't be killing people.
Are you out on bail, Aubrey?
They always bail a man in a case like this, Amy. They got my car on their hands. I just got to call around for it Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock.
I guess you just got to go down there to a hearing Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock and pay your fine. I guess that's the automobile you've got to call for.
How much did they fine you, Aubrey?
They didn't fine me at all.
They'll do that Tuesday.
Yeah, time will tell that, Mother Fisher.
How much bail did they put you under, Aubrey?
1,000 berries, Amy.
$1,000?
What?
That's regulation. Little chicken feed for the stool pigeons.
Did you say $1,000?
That's what I said, Mother Fisher. 1,000 trifles. I wouldn't kid you.
You wouldn't kid anybody that'd listen to you for 5 minutes. And who did you get to go $1,000 bail for you?
Don't be alarmed, little mother. I saw that the affair was kept strictly within the family.
What do you mean?
Your other son-in-law was kind enough to come forward.
Do you mean my husband?
That's the gentleman, Clara, Mr. Francis X. Highland.
Oh,
Ladies.
Aubrey, don't you think you'd better go to bed?
In a minute. I'm thinking, Amy.
Is your head hurting you?
I'm not thinking that hard. Besides, it's just a couple of little scratches.
Aubrey, what do you think they'll do to you down there Tuesday?
Now, don't worry about that, sweetie.
Oh, but they're getting awfully strict. What if that traffic cop is hurt bad?
Oh, it'll only be a fine for reckless driving, even if they could prove it was reckless driving. And I can prove it was the officer's fault. So they'll be very likely apologizing to me around there Tuesday morning instead of fining me.
Oh, I wouldn't care if they only fined you, Aubrey, because I could go back to work until it was paid.
You'll never go back to work, kid, while I'm on the boat.
I wouldn't mind it, Aubrey.
Not while you're my wife, Amy. I'm the provider around here.
You don't think they might do anything else to you, do you, Aubrey?
Oh, they might try to take away my license.
You haven't got a license, have you?
That's where I fooled them.
Aubrey, what is it they send them to prison for?
Look, Amy, everything's okay. I've got the whole thing worked out in my mind right now. All I've got to do is pay that little old fine, and I'm as free as the air. Why, it's a cinch.
How much will the fine be?
Well, I can't tell. Maybe that 1,000 berries.
$1,000? Where'll you get $1,000?
Now, stop it, honey. Look, I'll have that $1,000 Monday. It's a breeze.
$1,000 Monday?
Sure.
How?
Look, if a fellow was going to sell something for $10, see?
Yes.
And I knew it was worth at least $20, see? Well, if I went to the men who were going to buy it for $10 and I convinced them they ought to pay $20, well, I'd be entitled to a commission now, wouldn't I? At least 2%. 2% of the difference, sign on the dotted line, and I got my $1,000.
But, Aubrey, that would mean that you'd have to sell something for $100,000.
That's the ticket, Amy.
You mean that somebody's selling something for $50,000 and that you can get $100,000 for it?
Amy, it's a cinch. Well, what do you say, little lady? Mr. Miller ready to see me yet?
Let's see now. You're Mr. Piper, aren't you?
That's the name, little lady. Just tell him I'm here about Mr. Fisher's invention.
Oh, I told him that already, Mr. Piper.
Oh, thank you, little lady. I don't know what I'd do without you.
Oh, you go on.
No, you go on.
Miss Gray?
Yes, Mr. Miller?
I'll see Mr. Piper now.
Yes, sir. That door over there, Mr. Piper.
Oh, thank you. Many brave hearts are asleep in the deep, so be... good morning, Mr. Miller.
Morning, come in.
Piper's the name, Aubrey Piper.
How do you do? Sit down.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I've come to see you about the rust preventative.
So I hear. Well, where's Mr. Fisher? He was going to be here at 11 to sign the papers.
So I came at 10. The signing of the papers can wait, I think.
Oh? Are you an interested party in this deal, Mr. Piper?
Well, slightly, yes. I'm Mr. Fisher's business advisor.
Oh, I see. Well, he's a fortunate young man.
Oh, very fortunate. And that's what I like to see, Mr. Miller. A young man getting someplace, pulling himself up by the seat of his pants. Yes, Mr. Miller, it's the American inventive genius that's put this country where it is today. And I'm here to state that every right-thinking citizen has the duty, no, sir, the privilege, of doing everything in their power to help the growing boy along. Am I right or wrong? Shake it up, brother. Shake it up.
Just a moment, please.
Yes. Now, let's not beat around the bush. I'm a man of a few words, Mr. Miller, and I can see that you are, too. Now, what I like to do is come straight to the point, sign on the dotted line, wrap it up, and take it away. Now, you know what this boy has done. Just one little idea, you say. One simple operation. That's true, Mr. Miller, but we can't pass it off like that. Oh, no. Now, you're a businessman, Mr. Miller. Your time is valuable, and so is mine. So let's settle right down now here.
Just what are you talking about?
Mr. Fisher's invention. What else?
Well, you're a little late. We went all over this with Mr. Fisher last week. We're giving him $50,000 for it this morning.
Now you've hit it, Mr. Miller. Right on the old button. $50,000. A paltry, measly, contemptible... Shame on you, Mr. Miller.
What's that?
Think of it. Put yourself in this boy's place.
$50,000 is a very fair price.
Not for genius, Mr. Miller. Genius is priceless. And I'm here to stay...
Wait, please. Am I to understand that you'd like to call this deal off?
Now, Mr. Miller, don't you jump to conclusions. We want you to have this invention, but at a fair price.
All right, Mr. Piper, let's have your proposition.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. In the first place, we want $100,000 on the line as an advance.
Oh, really?
A check will do, but cash won't hurt. Number 2, the Miller Grant Company will have to sell it at their own expense.
I see.
And number 3, we want 1/2 the net on every gallon sold as a royalty. There you are, Mr. Miller. That's our proposition, and a fairer one you couldn't find. Am I right or wrong? Shake it up, brother. Shake it up.
Mr. Piper, I'm afraid you're wrong.
Yeah. Huh?
I said you're wrong.
Now listen here.
I'll do the talking now. Who do you think you are walking in here trying to bulldoze me out of $50,000? We made a fair price, and we were ready to stand by it. But I don't like the way you do business, Mr. Piper. And you can go back and tell Mr. Fisher that he can thank you for this deal falling through.
Now, what was that?
The deal is off. We won't give you a lead nickel.
Now, wait.
I'm sorry, Mr. Piper. Good morning.
But you can't do this.
Oh, yes, I can. There were no papers signed, and there won't be any papers signed. Now get out.
Mr. Miller, you're making a terrible mistake.
Will you please get out?
Now, let's be reasonable, huh? We'll come down a little bit. Make it $75,000.
I told you I wouldn't...
Make it 60.
No.
55.
No.
53.
No.
52.
No.
51.
No!
You're a hard man, Mr. Miller. And just for that, we won't sell it to you at all. We'll take our product elsewhere. And you'll regret this to the end of your days. Just remember, whenever you hear the Fisher-Piper process, that you could have been in on the ground floor and you missed your chance. Good morning, sir. Oh, this is one of my bad days.
Now the curtain rises on the third act of the show-off, starring the great Gildersleeve, Una Merkel, and Beulah Bondi. It's the morning of Aubrey's trial. In the corridor, just off the courtroom, the luckless show-off stands cracking his knuckles with nervousness. For the first time in his life, Aubrey is scared. With him is his benefactor, a sad-faced, sad-eyed man, his brother-in-law, Frank Highland.
And take it easy, Aubrey. Don't try to tell the judge his business. If he finds you, just keep your mouth shut. I'll take care of whatever it costs.
Gee, Frank, certainly is swell of you to stick by me like this.
Oh, it's all right.
If I can ever do anything for you, just tip me off.
Yeah. Things certainly been going awful lately. Did you hear about Joe?
Joe? No. What's the matter with Joe?
He had a deal all set for $50,000 for his invention. Went down there yesterday and they wouldn't even see him.
Well, what do you know? No explanation or anything.
No.
Well, just goes to show you. You can't trust those fellas as far as you can throw them.
Yeah. Wish I knew what gummed it up.
So do I.
Aubrey.
Oh, hello, Amy. Glad you got here, kid.
Hello, Frank.
Hello. Well, I'll see you later. I gotta get some coffee.
No refills, Frank. See you in court. Well, honey.
Aubrey, are you nervous?
Nervous? Who, me? Yeah.
Oh, Aubrey, don't worry. It'll come out all right.
It's not only the trial, Amy. That isn't so much. I got something else on my mind, Amy. I've just discovered I'm a terrible heel.
Aubrey!
That's right. It's an awful blow to me after all these years.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Amy, listen. Remember that deal I was going to swing? That $100,000 thing?
Yes?
It didn't go through.
Oh, that's all right.
I hope Joe feels like that.
Joe?
Yeah, it was his deal, the invention. I crabbed it for him.
Oh, Aubrey.
All right, go ahead. Give it to me. I deserve anything I can get.
But how did it happen? How? It was all settled.
Well, yes, but I went there to talk for Joe.
Oh.
I thought I could bluff him into it, Amy, and instead of that, they bluffed me out. I was only trying to do a good turn, that's all.
I guess you can't help it, Aubrey. I guess it's just the way you're built or something.
Oh, honey, from now on, it's going to be different. I'm going to be a brand new heel. Man, you wait and see.
Well, what are you going to tell Joe?
Joe? Oh, you think I ought to tell him, huh?
Well, you've got to tell him. You've got to take your medicine, Aubrey.
All right. I'll face him. I'll face him like a man. Joe, I'll say. Joe, my boy. I'd rather face my draft board.
Well, when the trial's over, we'll go up to the house, both of us.
Okay, Amy.
Of course, that's just assuming that they'll let you out after the trial.
Aubrey Piper.
Yes, here I am. Who wants me, mister?
The state of Pennsylvania. Get in here.
Oh, brother.
Here it is. Look, Clara, it's in the papers already.
About Aubrey?
You'd know it was about Aubrey if they didn't even mention his name.
Oh, what's it say?
Mad motorist fined $1,000.
That's him, all right. I suppose Frank had to pay it, too.
Aubrey Piper of 903 Lehigh Avenue was arraigned today before Magistrate Lister to answer to the charges of reckless driving, injuring a traffic officer, and operating an automobile without a license. Magistrate Lister heard a plea of leniency and fined the defendant $1,000. Look, there's his picture.
Aubrey's picture?
Carnation and all. I'd like to get my hands on that fool. I'd tell him a thing or two. Disgracing the whole family.
Well, Here's your chance.
Oh, hi, Clarabelle.
Come on in. Hello, Amy.
Hello.
Well, it's all over. The said and done. Sign on the dotted line. Greetings, Mother Fisher. You're looking very beautiful this afternoon. Pretty as a gangster's moll. Yes, sir.
Shut up.
What's the matter, Mother?
What'd they do to him, Amy?
Oh, nothing much.
I'll tell you what they tried to do.
You keep quiet. Nobody wants to hear what you've got to say about it at all.
Well, I told them down there what I had to say about it, whether they wanted to hear it or not. I told them plenty.
And then they fined you, didn't they?
A little.
Yes, they fined you $1,000. It's all right here in the paper. Mad motorist fined $1,000.
Is that what they called me? Why, I'll sue them. Let me see that. Not a bad picture, is it?
Oh, give me that paper. What do you want to do? Put it in your scrapbook?
Oh, Mama, let's not fight about it. We're in trouble enough right now. Let's forget it.
Oh, sure. Forget it.
Is Joe here, Mama?
No, he ain't.
Well, Aubrey wants to see him about something when he comes. Then we're going home. I'll go make a cup of tea.
Nothing for me, Amy. I couldn't eat a thing.
Who asked you to?
All right, Mother, all right.
Is that you, Paul?
It's me, Mom.
Oh, come in. You've got company.
Who is it? Oh, hello, Aubrey.
Oh, hi, Joe.
How'd you make out today, Aubrey?
Well, I'll tell you.
They fined him. He's lucky he isn't in the Hooskow right now.
Oh, that's too bad.
Joe, listen, I got to speak to you about something.
Not now, Aubrey. I'm pretty busy.
Yeah, but it's very important, Joe.
What could you have to say that's important? You know who he is, don't you, Joe? He's the mad motorist.
You cut it out, Mother.
What is it, Mom?
Right here in the paper, look. Oh, I never thought I'd live to see a thing like this happen.
You know, there's something else in tonight's paper, Mom.
What?
Just cast your eyes on this right here.
Well, what is it?
Philadelphia youth makes important chemical discovery. Mr. Joseph Fisher of North Philadelphia perfects rust preventative solution. How do you like that?
Joe, did they buy that thing from you?
$100,000, Mother. They signed for it this afternoon in the lawyer's office.
What, Joe?
Oh, Joe, that's wonderful. Oh, I'll go tell Amy.
Wait a minute. What is all this?
Here, read it.
Joe, I can't believe it.
Let me see that thing.
They sent for me to come over there this afternoon about 2 o'clock, and they had their contracts all drawn up and everything.
What did you say about $100,000, Joe?
Well, that's what they paid for it this afternoon on account. Then they're to market it for me from their laboratories and give me half the net.
Net? What's the net?
Whatever's left after all expenses are paid.
But did they give you any of the money, Joe?
$100,000, sure.
Not in money, though.
Oh, not in dollar bills. No, they gave me a check for it. Well, Aubrey, what do you say?
Not bad, not bad. I guess we put it over, eh, Jose?
What do you mean, we?
Yes, what do you mean, we? Who cut you in on this?
Now, Mother, you never know.
Oh, shut up.
You know, it was a funny thing, Mom. When I first talked to the Miller Grant people, I was only to get $50,000 advance. Then they called it all off. But today they sent for me and said, okay, you win $100,000.
And they're getting away with manslaughter at that.
Keep still, you. You don't know anything about this at all.
I made them think I knew something about it.
You made who think?
The Miller Grant people.
What are you talking about, Aubrey? Do you know?
Certainly I know what I'm talking about. I went to see those people yesterday.
And what did you do up there?
Well, I told them they'd have to double the advance if they wanted to do business with us.
And what business was it of yours?
Well, I'm Joe's relative, ain't I?
Who told you were?
Well, he's got to have somebody tend to his business, doesn't he, Mother? He's only a lad.
He doesn't need you to tend to his business for him. He tended to his business long before he ever saw you.
He never landed $100,000, though, Mother, till he saw me, did he?
Well, what did you say to them, Aubrey?
Well, Joe, I simply told him I was acting in the capacity of business advisor to you. And that if this discovery of yours was as important as you'd led me to believe it was, they were simply taking advantage of your youth by offering you $50,000 for it. And that I refused to allow you to negotiate further unless they doubled the advance, sold it at their expense, and gave us one half the net sign on the dotted line.
Holy smokes.
I don't believe it.
Well, I certainly have to give you credit, Aubrey. That's the way the contract reads.
I told it to him all right from the shoulder. Yes, sir.
Well, I'll have to give you a little present of some kind out of this, Aubrey.
You'll not give me any present, Jose. Give it to your family. They'll need it more than I will.
Joe, is it true what Clara said?
Sure it is. Here's the paper.
Oh, Joe.
But Aubrey gets half the credit. He swung the deal for double the money.
Aubrey, it's wonderful, darling. You're wonderful. Everything's wonderful.
Nothing at all, Amy. Nothing at all.
Do you want some tea, Aubrey?
Tea? Yes, I might, Clara.
And a sandwich. I'll fix you something, Aubrey.
Sure, anything he wants, eh, Aubrey?
Well, thanks, folks. Can I help, Amy?
No, you just sit down there, Aubrey, and rest.
Rest? Oh, thank you. Oh, Amy, that newspaper there. Just hand me the financial page, will you?
Heaven help me from now on.
Ladies and gentlemen, next Sunday is the beginning of Boy Scout Week. This year marks the 33rd birthday of scouting in this nation, a third of a century of service. Every Boy Scout is working for his country now, helping to win the war. And tonight we join millions of other Americans in saluting their great work. Our sponsors, the makers of Lux Toilet Soap, join me in inviting you to be with us again next Monday night when the Lux Radio Theater presents Edward G. Robinson, Gail Patrick, and Laird Krieger in The Maltese Falcon. This is Cecil B. DeMille saying good night to you from Hollywood.
The Great Gildersleeve appeared tonight through the courtesy of the Kraft Cheese Company. Beulah Bondi will soon be seen in the Warner Brothers picture Watch on the Rhine, starring Betty Davis. Heard in tonight's play were Paula Winslow as Clara, Jeff Corey as Joe, and Eddie Marr, Norman Field, Leo Cleary, Charles Kane, Arthur Q. Bryan, Ken Christie, Sharon Douglas, and Fred Mackay. Our music was directed by Louis Silvers. And this is your announcer, John N. Kennedy, reminding you to tune in next Monday night to hear Edward G. Robinson, Gail Patrick, and Laird Krieger in The Maltese Falcon.